Hey guys, Third Street Reactions here. We're back. I'm Shane.
Zakk.
We're back here with Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Last week we had the Zillo Beast. Zakk, do you remember what happened in the Zillo Beast?
Yeah, we had a nice homage to the Toho Godzilla.
Yeah.
My favorite. And they went to fucking Sebulba's peoples.
The Dugs.
The Dugs, that's right.
They're like the Ironborn. They're miserable fucking people.
They seem like assholes. Like
That's what the Ironborn are.
They all seem like assholes. Well, I know, but Watto's home planet, the Toydarians, they weren't assholes. They're actually pleasant people. And Watto was like the guy that...
He was like the outcast.
He's the exception to the rule, but
he probably had a pyramid scheme over there or something.
He's just fucking...
They kicked him out.
He's like a Uncle Stan over there.
Well, it's funny because, showing Toydaria, like, it was like, them being nice people. They were kind of trying to get away and correct, like, the idea of, like, with Star Wars, you have characters being, like...
Well, it's kind of
they have qualities.
A race idea where a race is just like you're just this way.
It's
all
like,
of you are this way.
It's like it's basically this ideology of the races, which is actually kind of
when you're a kid, though, it makes sense because the kid recognizes, that's one of those bad monsters or bad alien. But in the larger scheme of things, when you're developing it and it's maturing over time, you want to incorporate.
Well, it's funny
because not all humans.
Yeah,
like the Empire was very strict on its racial. Policies about hiring humans.
Yeah.
And, not all humans are bad, though, because most of your fucking heroes are humans.
Well, that's what's so cool about Thrawn. Thrawn was so great.
Yeah. He was so great that the Palpatine said, okay. Yeah, we'll let him.
Yeah. So, anyways, they are able to knock the Zillo Beast out.
Yep. Because Mace wanted to, play environmentalist.
That's the thing, is last episode, I didn't really touch on this. So, we had the Jedi being kind of like morally, like we don't want to kill an innocent beast. But what do they do to the Dugs so they can have the beast live? They deceive them. Yeah. So when I was watching it,
they deceive people all the time. They use Jedi mind tricks on people. They do it in practice. They're like the greater good. Yeah. Except they're not like those people in Hot Fuzz. The greater good, they're like murdering people just to keep their town nice. Have you ever seen that movie?
I think I saw it with you. I don't remember it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Over the top. You get this little town council of higher-ups in the town. There's actually an ex-Bond actor. I can't remember his name now, but he's the guy that plays the old man in Doom Patrol that builds Brendan Fraser the new body and all that.
Yeah, yeah. I can't remember his name, but he was in Chuck as well.
Yeah, and it'll come to me sometime. But they have this little group town council, and all these terrible things are happening in their town. Like, he just died, or he just this. Like,
so basically, people on top are...
This cop comes from the big city. He gets kicked out of the big city because he's making all the other cops look bad. Sean Penn.
Yeah.
And he comes there, and he starts figuring things out. And he thinks it's ridiculous that all these people are just dying and no one's doing anything about it. No one even really cares. I don't know. It's a big story to go into later. But it's an enjoyable movie. Not as enjoyable as Shaun of the Dead, but it's still funny.
But they had this brilliant idea to bring the Zillo Beast to Coruscant. So,
Yeah, well, we know it's just a carry good story. So it's not their idea, though. It was Palpatine's idea.
It was Palpatine's idea. Which is funny, because he's a brilliant man.
Well, yeah. It's kind of... I want to see more of it to kind of maybe get a little nitpick what he's trying to do. Because maybe he kind of sees, like, well, even if this happens, maybe I can get this out of it. Maybe he's seeing all the angles.
Well, I mean...
So, like, I just want to study its armor, and if it gets out, well...
I think even when Palpatine makes mistakes, he ends up coming out on top, normally.
Well, he knows how to navigate those waters.
Yeah. We see that in the Clone Wars. Actually, it's like, some things aren't perfectly planned, and he has to adopt on the fly and be smart. Yeah. But let's start.
Ingenuity. Does not seem like enough troopers for this scenario.
No, there's not. Those tanks, which we saw in the first episode, they're in episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Like, they're shooting at the orb. I can't remember what it's called.
Such size. Such power.
Bringing it here to Coruscant is a mistake. I'm turning the Zillo Beast over to you, Doctor. I trust it will be given good care.
What's so interesting is so many kids, their Star Wars was this before they ever watched the movies. Yeah. So then they go and watch the movies and they can't believe Palpatine's bad and Anakin's bad. And
I raised the issue with the Chancellor during the Battle of Malastare, without success.
So this is kind of an homage. You have a big monster, you have to have him up kind of restrained and being tortured. And
I a better place to rip its armor off than its fucking face.
Strong,
Yeah.
but this creature may be intelligent.
I find that hard to believe. It is, after all, just an animal. We need to find a way to kill that beast. Or we shall replace you with someone who can.
He's already being sinister. Masamada, I think that's that guy's name.
The blue guy, the horns. Yeah.
It's the first time ever that motherfucker ever spoke. I think.
Are you sure? Don't question me in public again.
He sounded like that version of him.
Of course, in wartime, some things must be kept secret, even from the
Well, he's
people,
right.
so as not to aid the enemy.
No, but
It is unfortunate
that's the Vader
the
talk.
beast
Yeah,
must
if you ask
die.
me.
I'm certain a reasonable solution will present itself.
Master Kenobi has taught you well.
Fence riding motherfucker.
Well, he's in a bad position.
He's like, oh well, you know, I'm sure we'll.
He's got his secret wife and his.
I'm sure we'll agree on something here. You know?
Yeah. Production team had a lot of hard time animating all this.
Yeah, I believe it.
Better hurry, sir. You're missing all the fun.
People are dying. Why would they say that?
Yeah,
That's
that's a hell of a thing.
a hell of a thing, isn't it?
We are going now.
The situation has become. Before more lives are lost. Act quickly, we must.
Gotta have that moment.
King Kong moment.
I wish we had never brought the beast here.
Evasive action! Here's where the fun begins. Hang on!
Guys, that was the reaction, his reaction, and this is our discussion. What do you think, man?
I really liked it.
Yeah.
I thought they had a lot of references that I really enjoyed. The air raid sirens,
Yeah.
when it got loose,
Yeah.
definitely reminiscent of
Yeah.
World War II era and Godzilla.
They're pretty big
Really
fans of that
Kong.
stuff.
Well, I thought it was a really cool episode. A lot
Yeah.
of beautiful imagery.
I actually
Like
got a little
when
emotional
it's
when
tear-assing through the town and you see the lights from the below on the city.
I think it's important to show like the people getting
Falling.
affected. Yeah.
A lot of people fucking died
Yeah.
from the collateral damage.
Yeah. I actually got a little emotional when it was dying.
Yeah, that's what I was about to. That's on my notes.
Yeah.
The music that they played,
Yeah.
it definitely showed a lot of sympathy for the creature, and I even felt it a little bit.
Yeah.
It sucks, but in that circumstance, though, would you be on Palpatine's side or would you be on Windu? And
I think I know they.
given the war, because it reminds me.
Well, it's weird because in hindsight he was wrong. I feel like.
It reminds me of the atomic bomb in Truman
Yeah.
in World War II. And I haven't done an in-depth study of the subject, but the general consensus is that Truman had a choice between dropping the bomb or continuing the war
Yeah.
on the ground against the Japanese, and how many more lives would be lost, American lives. And I'm sure it would affect his campaign ratings and his
sure.
re-election
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
if he didn't use a weapon he had that could end the war sooner. So, he ended up using the bomb twice,
Yeah.
which is pretty commendable for the Japanese, considering you had this weapon that destroyed one of your cities, and you still didn't surrender until the second one was dropped.
When I look at the history of how fierce they were, it's crazy. Like the way they treated POWs, they'd rather die than surrender.
Yeah, they were.
And they think if you surrender, you're weak. That's why no POWs survived in their
what
camp.
was it Flags of Our Fathers? Or no, Letters from Iwo Jima.
Yeah.
With Ken
That's the other
Watanabe.
one. They're both companions.
Yeah. Ken Watanabe. Mm-hmm. When he's trying to convince these other Japanese soldiers, no, don't do this. You can still live to fight.
Yeah.
But these guys were killing themselves with their grenades and shit.
Yeah.
And committing I don't say seppuku because it's not quite the same. But
Yeah.
it's, at the same time, I'd rather die an honorable death. So, that aside, what would you have chosen?
I don't know, because it's hard to...
Take Truman's re-election out of it.
Well, it's weird because I watch these
It's
YouTube
political
videos
image.
of kids and grandkids of people who went through it.
Yeah.
And
that's why Godzilla...
And people who have 3 arms.
That's why Godzilla trumps King Kong any day of the week, and why there's so much more heart in it, and there's not any in King Kong, because King Kong's more of a sympathy for the animal at the end.
Yeah.
But Godzilla's more...
The social commentary is what you like.
Well, I like that. I like that there's a collective pain and horror
Yeah.
behind Godzilla that bleeds into that film and gives it its heart and its power.
Yeah.
Whereas King Kong is it's an American spectacle.
Well, I think lizards are cool with monkeys, so I've
I've
always liked Godzilla more.
Well, I'm just saying that King Kong was more of an American spectacle.
Yeah.
Whereas Godzilla was a social commentary, like you said.
Yeah.
And about the collective horror of nuclear,
Yeah.
annihilation. And
Which is weird, because
fallout.
we were talking about the 98 one. That does touch on that. It was all nuclear horror.
Yeah.
But, it was so goofy. Yeah,
It
I liked what it was, but it's a goofy movie.
Yeah, I mean, it had a lot of funny moments. The French guy, you call this coffee,
Call this
I call
America.
this America.
Yeah, and honestly, one of the coolest parts in the end was when they find all the babies. It was like the Jurassic Park raptor thing.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Well, I just thought of Jurassic Park, and it's funny, but it reminds me of, Nick Owen, and when he takes Roland Timbo's, when he takes the bullets out of the
Yeah.
casings. That fucking asshole got so many people killed
Yeah.
because Timbo couldn't shoot it.
Yeah.
And people were probably, I know at the time, thinking that Nick Van Owen's a hero, but he wasn't.
No, I mean,
And in that instance, he was misguided, and he got a lot of people killed, all for the sake of one dinosaur that they cloned,
Yeah.
that they could clone again.
Yeah.
It's not like, you know what I mean?
No, I mean, I agree with you there.
But
In this,
regardless.
in this particular case, it's hard not to look at the hindsight.
But what would you choose?
And I would choose to let it where it was. But if I was right there, I was Anakin's side, and
Well, let's assume that Palpatine is not a Sith Lord. He's just the Chancellor that's in charge of this war effort. And he's
I don't think he should have brought it there. And
bringing it there, no. But, killing it, researching it,
it's hard.
those details.
It's really hard for me to think about. I mean, because I love animals, and if it was the last of its kind, but at the same time, if
It takes you back
there's no
to-
certainties that killing this thing and researching it would save lives that soon or enough, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, it's the thing. I mean, how do you make every effort, or you dismiss those efforts for the sake of?
I don't want to trample over.
Because there's different morals here. You have he references moral courage. He doesn't say moral courage exactly, but he's referencing it, that quality. Because moral courage, like in the
he was
instance
saying,
of
he did
Lee
basically
and
say
Grant,
that.
like in the Civil War, people criticize, sending in so many men to die in a battle, and for to win these victories. Like, how can you justify it?
Yeah.
Well, as a leader in a military effort, you have to have the moral courage to say, well, this, has to be done. These, you know what I mean? You have to be able to make these decisions without being a big softy.
Yeah.
I guess. And I'm sure that some of them still feel that pain for their men.
Yeah.
But you have a responsibility.
Trace Cushionata did.
Yeah.
Gun the wing.
Well, I know. And that's the thing. Is in that position, if he were just a normal chancellor that is trying to win this war effort, and you've got these clones out there and other people on other planets that are being affected by the war.
When the Star Wars universe reaches R&D, it happens in just like they discovered the toxin, in 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. So assuming it doesn't take years, like most R&D takes.
Yeah. Well, you got to take for granted that they have technological advancements far superior to ours. So, I mean, we know we can't.
I really don't know.
We got to take away the nefarious side of it for Palpatine.
It's hard to do that. I keep thinking it was a mistake to bring it there.
Well, it was definitely a mistake to bring it to Coruscant. But I'm talking about just killing.
But George
the
walked in the room and
monster.
said, "He's getting there," and they're like, "Right." He's going,
yeah. Well, I'm just saying that if you found this monster, you found out that you could help the war effort in your favor. You know what I mean?
I mean, you're saying these absolutes. Like, if you could definitely save a shit ton of lives, for sure.
It's not an absolute. It's just like you could. There's a possibility you could.
I feel like I would need more assurances.
How much time do you have for assurances when this war is going on? That's the point.
Well,
You don't have the luxury.
I wouldn't
you don't
want to
have
be
the
in a,
luxury of time and peace.
I just wouldn't want to be in a position where something like that happened. That did happen.
Well, if you brought it to the planet and it got out and killed a bunch of people, that might look pretty bad.
He'd be impeached.
Yeah, he would.
That's what I think.
Yeah, and by current standards.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that if you took it out to Antarctica, somewhere where there are no people, and you had a research facility there, and you could research it, or its corpse, you would kill it first and research it.
Yeah, I guess I would research it without killing it, if I could.
If you could.
Yeah. And I feel like that the doctor, I can't remember her name, didn't mention the episode, I don't think. She has a name. I feel like she was suggesting they could, they need to find a workaround.
It'd take more time.
And he was just like, well, kill it, and,
Yeah.
He'd have to really, monitor that project, because I don't think it could get out. I mean, he couldn't have one side of the war, like he couldn't have this lopsided thing where one side got real powerful.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, that we can't really take into consideration the fact that he's in charge of both sides of the war effort. He's the mastermind behind it all. You got to take all that away and just say, would you do this if it could end the war and in your country's favor and save lives?
Yeah, I mean, he's probably in the right, but I think the way he went about it was completely wrong.
Well, in his case, that he's doing it for his ulterior motives.
Yeah, I mean, not just that. Like, I think bringing it there, research, all that stuff, I think was the wrong move. You know what I mean? But if you're saying, like, if you're kind of taking a step out of the episode and saying, under better circumstances, you could save all these lives if you end this one beast, then I probably would do it, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But,
you got to take it out of that because there's too much intertwined.
But, I'd feel like an idiot if I didn't save lives and I got out, and you know what I mean?
Well, if it got out, but if you were able to do it and you researched it and it didn't save lives, but you still made the effort. Then
I'd feel like I'd still feel bad. Like, shit, I killed that thing for nothing.
Yeah, but I mean, you made the effort though.
I know, but that wouldn't do anything for me. It's the effort if you failed.
That's what anything is. People fail all the time.
Well, I wouldn't want to.
You make further efforts.
I wouldn't want to step over something else's rights for an effort that I fail at. I would strive to not fail. If I was going to end something's life or someone's life, I would definitely strive to succeed even more. At all costs, I'm
not sure how well you do as a president then, but
leader
of a country. Because when you make decisions as a leader of a country, most times people die.
Well,
especially in those circumstances.
But when they do that, they strive to make great effort that their lives aren't in vain.
I don't know. I'm not, because they don't make a lot of point to, we talk about the clones and how some Jedis treat them as cannon fodder, and some Jedi like Anakin treat them as people.
Yeah.
So,
and this show's kind of, in the very first episode, Yoda was, saying, "Oh, you guys are unique." And,
you're humanizing.
But before that, Anakin was the one who identified with them the most.
Yeah, and that's the idea. That where do you draw the line? And you're sending all these people out there to die. And some people might say, "Well, they're just clones."
Yeah.
So, well.
Yeah, I mean, I know Anakin doesn't feel that way, and he's got the benefit of being like the most powerful Force user in this era, who can back up his moral philosophy by saving people and leading from the front and with heroic leadership and stuff like that. I guess I would, to me, their lives aren't cannon fodder. I wouldn't treat it that way, and I don't think a good leader would think that. They would strive to make great effort to preserve as many lives as they could, and if people had to go in and lives had to be saved, and lives had to be sacrificed for an effort, then I would take that pretty seriously.
I would venture to say, though, that I'm not sure how much of an effect that creature would have on the actual war between the Separatists and the clones. But making lightsaber-proof armor for clones, in the case of Order 66, will be pretty beneficial for Palpatine.
Pretty damn beneficial,
so,
yeah. No, I agree.
If you look at that in the long short of it, I'm not sure what great advancements you can make. I mean, greater armor obviously means a better battle prowess for any of your fleet or your soldiers. So.
Yeah, other than that, I don't got anything else for you.
No, I thought it was really enjoyable. I'm glad we watched it. Probably my favorite arc so far.
Guys, thank you so much for watching the Clone Wars with us. If you like us, you want to support us, you can. Just go back and watch the other ones. Make sure you check out Star Wars Visions that we're currently doing. Go back and look at The Mandalorian, and we'll be covering all Star Wars things and more. So make sure you check out all our other things, like, subscribe, hit that notification.